Welcome back, guys, to this tutorial randomizer run. When we last left off, we were just starting Turtle Rock, so we're gonna go ahead and head in here. This is arguably the most, this and Pod are the two most efficient dungeons to check as far as the amount of items you get versus the amount of required items. So they're more likely not gonna be logic items you're gonna need in this and Pod. More than any other dungeon, other than maybe Ganon's Tower. Okay, so this room's a little weird. You see this, how this door only opens it when you're not facing it? To get out of this room, you can either A, magic mirror, or B, hold your sword and just back out with your back facing the wall. So we already got a, I think, 5 rupees was what we got there, so we're gonna go ahead and continue on. I'm actually gonna show you guys a little shortcut in this next room. So we're gonna go ahead and use Canis Maria here. Fire Rod, Fire Rod, Fire Rod. Now we're going to immediately switch to Hook Shot, and I'm going to see if nope, I didn't pull it off right. But we're going to go ahead and just Hook Shot onto the lamppost there, and it brings us back to this side quicker. It's the quickest way to do this room. Now I'm going to just cape through this room, because it's awful. Key and Big Key. So there are 4 keys required to complete this dungeon, as well as Big Key. So that's 5, 6, 7 items of 14 or of 12. So my bad. I thought it was 14 items here. It's 12. Because of that, actually, I believe that Swamp is actually more efficient than Turtle Rock as far as items you get per yield. Well, then again, technically no, it's even, and I'll explain why. Because there's a cave we can only get to. By accessing Turtle Rock. It's called Mimic Cave, and I'll show you how we get there. Alright, so we're out of this room. Those chain chops hit like a damn truck, so we're gonna avoid those like the plague. Even with Red Tunic, you're going to take a shit ton of damage from those chain chomps. I always thought it was cool they brought a Mario enemy into this game for one room. Like, as a nice little Easter egg. Alright, so we're going to take the bottom path first. We will be coming back around to the top path in a minute. I'll show you what we're going to do. But for the moment, we're going to just go ahead and do it this way. There's also a quicker way to kill these 4-stack enemies. The ones that look like this right here. Just fire your fire rod at it. Now, the reason we want to do this is because there's a chest here. Normally, this is where the big key spawns. It didn't spawn there today, obviously, because we already had it, so we're going to go back the way we came. It's actually quicker to reroute this way than to go around the other room. Because here's why. It shoots you right back out here, and our next path is right here. We're going to just murder these guys real quick. Now we're going to head to the pathway to the left. We're actually going to go back into the overworld for a hot second halfway through this dungeon. And the reason we're going to do that is there's an item we can get to in a place called Mimic Cave. It's only accessible at this one spot. You can't get to it any other way. So you have to go about halfway through Turtle Rock to get to Mimic Cave, which is right here when you teleport to Light World. As you can see, there's no way to get to it. And there is a chest here. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our silver bow and arrow since we just got those. Murder, murder. Now we just hammer our way through here, and there's a chest on the other side for us. Which has a bomb cap increase for us. Nothing crazy, but hey. Now we're going to teleport back to Dark World and continue Turtle Rock. Which there's a key for us today. Alright, we're going to take the key, head on through here. Same thing, we're gonna just murder him real quick with that. I'm gonna grab our bombs. Ah, you little bastards. Oh, hey, we do have the red boomerang. I forgot about that. Cool, that's one less thing that can be in the logic at this point, so. Alright, we're gonna head down here. This is the quickest way to get to the switch to turn everything on. Now, quickest way is just up and left here. And that's just from playing this game enough to know where the routes are. So, we don't have enough keys to get into the final boss area of this dungeon, so we're actually going to have to dip down into what we call Laser Hallway. There's our Ether Medallion. That's what's required for us to get into Misery Mire. So now Misery Mire is accessible, which we figured it would be after this dungeon. There's the key we need to finish this dungeon. And there's a boo-boo on my part. Oh well. Sure. And a big 300. Cool. So now there's only 2 items left in the game. Key items, anyway. So the boss is gonna have the map on him this time. Okay. So we're just about to the boss. We're right outside the boss room now. We're gonna go ahead and grab the red cane here. I'm gonna go ahead and swap to the ice rod first. We're at the boss called Trinex. You'll see why in a second. Alright. So you gotta use Ice Rod on the Fire Head, Fire Rod on the Ice Head, and then he will remove his shell and become his snake form. Which, there'll be a middle section of him that's vulnerable with a sword. The map, and a crystal. So we got one more dungeon left to go in the game, guys. So we're gonna just jump right into Misery Mire. There's only gonna be one more episode after this. Ganon's Tower and Endgame. Because everything else will be done. Alright, so next up is Location 6. Like I said earlier, this is the way you get to the back way of the Desert Palace, but it's also how we access the Misery Mire dungeon. So in order for us to do that, we're going to go ahead and head up. Here. Now this medallion indicator will change every randomizer, so that it's not going to be the same twice. Or it shouldn't be. This time it was actually Ether Medallion. Now, normally you would need the hookshot for one spot in this dungeon. However, I'm going to show you how we can get around that if you need to, because you can do this dungeon without the whoopsies. You can do this dungeon without the Pegasus or the hookshot by using Pegasus boots here. Whoopsies. And it's just by bonking off of that and then hitting right as you bonk. So that's how you access this without hookshot. I just wanted to show that to you because that is possible in the logic. That will happen. Aw, damn it. There we go. Alright, so there's only 8 items in Misery Mire. It's one of the longest dungeons, plus it's one of the least efficient dungeons for items in the game. So this is one of those dungeons you pray to God you never have to come into in the run. Because it's possible you will. It's very possible. Okay, so there's a key for us. You can complete this dungeon, actually, and I'll show you how, the route I take, without having a single key. It's possible to complete this dungeon without having a single key, other than the big key. You gotta have the big key, obviously, but a normal key. Speaking of big key, there's our big key. Neat. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and charge here. We're gonna go ahead and kill that Wizrobe, because he can cause a lot of problems. So now we got ourselves a second key. You will get keys in this dungeon. You just don't need every key. Like, you don't need the keys in the chests. You can get by with just finding the keys in the jars to clear this dungeon. And it's actually a pretty efficient route still. So now we're gonna head down. We needed to turn this blue so we can get to this chest. As well as drop down here. I'm gonna grab another fairy real quick. And now we're at the big chest room. Normally you have to peg stash through there. Today we're gonna just hookshot across and grab the big chest. And it takes us right back out here. Now, normally you wouldn't use this door, but for the sake of ease today, we're gonna go ahead and use that. We're gonna go ahead and dash down here. And now we've got all the keys, I believe, in this dungeon. There might even be one more still, I don't know. Also, we have yet to clear the mushroom, so we're gonna go ahead and do mushroom after this before we head to Ganon's tower. Oopsies, we need this blue. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull Fire Rod out here. Like I said, you need this blue so you can get to this chest. Now we're gonna head down. I'm gonna show you guys a speedrunning trick here that is really useful. If you push a block at the same time you use Fire Rod, the Fire Rod will shoot through a block. And it's really useful for this spot, and I'll show you how to do it. And it's all about timing, it takes a little practice, so... We're gonna just... As you push the block, you're gonna shoot your Fire Rod. And it's the most efficient way of doing the room. Instead of having to do an elaborate block pushing puzzle 4 times, you just push a block 3 times and clear it that way. And just give no shits. And now we're set up with the way I did my route, so we can just directly head for the boss area. So the boss is going to have an item. We're going to go ahead and head up here, and there's a teleporter. Which takes us right into the boss entrance area. We're going to go ahead and pull out Arcana Samaria here. We're going to need it for 2 rooms, and then that's it. And then we should, well, we'll need it for a few things here still. But we're almost done with Arcana Samaria for the game. You need it for this spot here. We're almost at the end of this dungeon already. All the items in the overworld are done, guys. We're just basically now cleaning up dungeons the rest of the run. Okay. So now we toggle this to blue side. We're just about at the Vitreous fight, and so what I'm going to do now is toggle to my silver bow and arrows. Now, in the vanilla playthrough of this game, this strategy would not be an option. And in some instances in Randomizer, this strategy is not an option. But we can actually make the Vitreous boss fight a lot easier. Because he is normally one of the harder bosses of the game. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to pull out our silver arrows and we're going to just murder his little eyeballs as quickly as we can. Ah, shit, Dave. I'm potatoing. Okay, now you're being rude. I didn't do that as clean as I would like to, but hey, we're done with this boss now, so. We get the shovel. So now we got 2 more overworld items we have to do before we can end the run. The mushroom and the shovel game, or the shovel dig, which they're both really quick cleanups. They're nothing to them at all. So we're going to go ahead and teleport here to Light World, because we're going to try to set up the quickest route possible. As always, guys, if you have any questions or tips or suggestions, feel free to post them down below the channel. So now we have the mushroom. We're going to go ahead and turn that into Witch here. And to get the item that Witch has, we're going to leave and then come right back. You have to cycle a screen to make this register. And now we go into the hut, and we get a big 20 for our prize. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark this off that we've cleared it. The mushroom and the shovel are going to have this in the game, as far as that being an option. So now we're going to go Dave's house. We're going to go on a magical journey real quick. So to get to shovel game, we're going to just go ahead and head over here. Now, we're going to toggle our shovel, and this spot right here is where you want to dig. And that's our prize today. So now we're done with the shovel. Only thing left for us to do now is head to Ganon's Tower. So for us to get there, we actually have to go Dark World. Now, this is the same way we used to get access to Turtle Rock. We're going to use to get to Ganon's Tower. So there's another trick I mentioned that we can do with the blocks as you're pushing them, and it's with a hook shot. It only works if you're hook shotting from block to block, and I'll show you how this works. So as we go to push this, we're going to just hook shot through. And that speeds up the process where you don't have to do an extra room. Magic Mirror is the preferred method in that hallway for block vanish. So now we're going to go ahead and head on up to Ganon's Tower, and that's where we're going to end the episode. You have to, again, have all 7 crystals to be able to access Ganon's Tower. You can't access it any earlier. There's no way around it. You have to have 7 crystals to get into Ganon's Tower, which is the second to last dungeon in the game. Alright. So this will open up the way to Ganon's Tower. And when we come back, we're going to proceed through Ganon's Tower. There are 27 chests in total here. And then we're going to end the game. So, we are at the end game, guys. I will see you at the next episode for the end of this walkthrough tutorial of Randomizer. So we'll see you guys then.